Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Eats a snail, kills a wasp. Ooh, not a whale. Look out for Spider-Man. Okay, I did it.
You wanna fight? It's your lucky day.
Spider-Man was a very interesting experience, you know. You got to kick some ass, beat up some bad guys, whatnot. And here's the review now. Now, to start off with Spidey here, let's talk gameplay. And let me tell you guys, the game was pretty fun and not annoying, but kind of got repetitive here and there, but it was still a pretty cool experience. So basically in Spider-Man, he has triangle, which darts you to enemies, which gets you closer to them, circle as his dodge, and box for his standard attacks. Now there's also a few other mechanics in the game that you get through his progression system, similar to God of War. And there's also mechanics that you get that you start off with when you first turn on the game.
You got it. Almost there.
Now as for the Spider-Man related abilities, he has the spider sense, which tells you when you're going to get hit with the icon on his head. And there's a couple of things you can do with his webbing, but in terms of variety, when it comes to how you can web enemies, there's not much there, and I wish there was more. But his webbing is very useful, and just like his focus meter, it is very good to use his webbing because it takes out enemies very quickly. Now when it comes to combos and his moveset, Spider-Man, there isn't that much variation. He only has like 2 combos in the game, and his webbing, there's not much you can do with the webbing like I discussed. And when it comes to sneaking around, it's not even that as good as other games. Now it may seem like I'm painting Spider-Man in a negative light, but I actually really enjoy the game, and Insomniac has really captured the sense of being like Spider-Man, and the combat is really fun. And the reason why it is challenging is because when you're fighting these fat minions that are in the game, and these guys that are shooting guns at you from afar, you're really being challenged with your awareness. So when it comes to being challenged in Spider-Man, that's what it comes down to when the game is being challenging. Your awareness, like you have to web the guy over there while this fat guy is trying to hit you and stuff. And I don't know why, but he just, similar to how like Batman in like the Arkham games work, and Spider-Man does this too. When he's attacking, he first goes forward to his enemy when he attacks. So at every attack, before like his first attack, every time he attacks is him going forward first. And that's exactly what Batman does, and you know what Kratos does in God of War when he's in God mode, and even in his normal like state. Now as for sneaking in Spider-Man, it isn't as deep as a game like Metal Gear, but what you can do with it is you can web the surrounding areas around you. You know, you can use this gadget to web a spot, and with this specific gadget, you can like web a spot, and if the enemy walks into that area of effect where like the gadget is, they'll get hit by the gadget that's attached to the wall, and it'll web them to the wall, which is really cool. And I like the ideas they implemented with that gadget.
Literally didn't see that coming.
Now segueing into focus meter. Now focus meter, you have the option of healing yourself, and you also gain gadgets in the game, which also give you special moves. And this special move specifically gives you the ability to refill your focus meter, and you're able to finish off enemies very quickly, like you saw there. And you're able to get more special moves in the game, and that's one of them right there, where you can web all the enemies around you. Now when it comes to like puzzles in the game, you're just picking stuff that's in the menu, and like, you know, there's not really much to it. Now when it comes to bosses, this boss right here encapsulates how I feel about all the bosses in the game. You're pretty much just dodging, waiting for your chance to attack, throwing things at the enemy, and waiting for them to get tired. And that's pretty much the whole game with the bosses. Now that's not all the fights in the game. I think the best parts of the game is when you're fighting normal enemies, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's the best part of the game. And I played the game on the hardest difficulty, and it was very fun. I really liked playing as Spider-Man in this game, and it was really enjoyable. You know, and I'll just leave you guys on this note. Spider-Man was very good.
Yuri, this place is full of fist guys with suspicious bulges. Guns. I'm talking about guns, obviously.
I can't order a raid over bulges.
Just a hunch, but there might be a public disturbance pretty soon.
What the f?